Welcome back to the Michael Eure Show, and we're here today with Bram at the School of Barbering at Wake Tech. So tell us a little bit about your general student clientele.
Well, our program has been here since last year, September 2016. We actually had our first graduation this past Tuesday, our first graduating class, so that was exciting. Our program is actually 1,600 hours. The state required you to have 1,528 hours. Our hours of for schooling is not for full time. It's Monday through Friday only, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then for our part time, it's Tuesday through Friday from 6 to 10, and Saturday from 8 to 12. Full time is a year, part time is a year and a half. We do provide services for the public, general public, excuse me. We do those hours between 11 and 2:30
Every day?
every day,
Okay.
Monday through Friday. And then we also do that's our daytime hours. Then we have our part-time or evening hours, which is from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
And then we do Saturdays from 9 to 12 on Saturdays. So we open to the public as well.
And I've had the honor of having my hair cut for you from your folks, and I need it done today.
Yeah,
so
but you come
we're
back
here.
again to come see
We're going
us
to do
again.
a before and after. I know Dr. Rottenberg, he's got me on a still shot, but we're going to show them what it looks like when you get finished.
Okay.
Now, tell us a little bit about some of your community outreach, because I know that with the Museum of History, you have set up a booth, but I've also seen you cut hair at different community events. How do people request that?
They could reach me at on my phone, either here, my number at 919-866-5727, or they can email me at wkgraham, that's Graham, at waketech.edu. They have any events they want us to participate in. One thing I tell my students that we had a responsibility not just to service our community, but we also had a responsibility to serve our communities as barbers. And so we had an opportunity, we had the privilege, I should say, to partner with the YMCA. We did some haircuts for students for like picture day. Some of the students were like less fortunate. We also reached out, had partnership with Salvation Army. We cut hair. That's usually our part-time evening program does haircuts for them as well. We also partnered with we did the museum. We also did the men's homeless shelter, South Wilmington Street homeless shelter. We cut hair there as well. And so we just all about trying to give opportunities to give back to the community with our services.
Yeah, and barbershops are such a unique location for people to get together and socialize.
Yeah.
So we know, I certainly know about the Black Barber experience, but I also grew up looking at Andy Griffin. And it looks like they do about the same thing as we do.
It's the same thing.
So your students are very diverse, and they cut all kinds of hair. Is that right?
Yes, right. Because well, one joke I always joke with my students, I tell them that hair only has one color. And that color is green. Right? So some is long, some is curly, some is straight, some is wavy. But at the end of the day, you should learn how to cut all types of hair. And you're exactly right. That's one thing that's I guess that is the experience that you get from a barbershop, regardless of where the barbershop, any community. The barbershops has always been like the pillars of those communities.
Right.
So that goes back to how I tell my students why it's important for them to reach out and do service in their community besides just servicing them as well. But to really get back to talking about like some of the same things from in the Black barbershop, one thing that goes back to our barber history, just barber history anyway, way back in, I guess they say back in the Roman periods, they kind of say that's
Or
where
the Egyptian
or Egyptian period.
Go ahead.
Well, that's what Egyptian period where the beautified at and all the whole. But they say the Roman period was kind of supposed to be like the period when they camaraderie started,
really?
kind of with the bathhouses and things like that. And I think one thing about the Black barbershop, I think we have held on to that kind of tradition where, especially after that post-Civil War time. One thing about the Black barbershop has been the place. If it wasn't church, that's where we went to go get the latest news. Matter of fact, some history has it that that's where a lot of the medical doctors will come and promote inside the barbershops. Different local legislative politicians they will use the barbershop. So if it's not the church, they will come to their barbershop. But in our community.
And I think it is a cross-cultural thing because a
Yes.
lot of people don't know this, but the founding of North Carolina Central as North Carolina College for Negroes and the Chautauqua and all that, the barber of the Dukes family was very instrumental in convincing the Dukes to help them get Central started. So
Right.
that's one thing. And then what do you know and what do you think about the barbershop quartets? Do you,
It's I think we still do we make a lot of noise still in the
okay.
barbershop.
Oh,
Right?
yes.
But yes, that's another one of our histories with the Cortex is you don't see them too much anymore. That there's still some people that still holds on to that culture. But one thing again, speaking of like the Cortex, that's again the barbershop has always been a hub for a little bit of everything from everybody from people coming in and wanting to sell music to want to become an artist to meet somebody that need to be an artist. The barbershop is a hub for just about
Networking,
everything and
yes.
networking that you would need. Yeah.
Now, there are so many newfangled kind of things going on in the world. So tell us about some of the new services, because I know barbershops now, they have all kinds they have bars, they have sports themes,
Yeah.
and some of them are upscale in other ways. Do
Right.
you kind of go through that marketing kind of concept with your students?
Yes, I do. Actually, one thing that brings up one of our slogans for our programs is the very first business school of barbering. So we want to make sure that they understand not only just how to cut good hair, but how to run a good business.
Okay.
So being here at Wake Tech, we had the opportunity to partner with our Wake Tech Small Business Center,
Okay.
which shameless plug here, but we have probably one of the best small business centers in community college-wise. But I was able to partnership with Ms. Katie Gills at the Entrepreneurship Initiatives.
Oh, yeah.
And we started we have a business component piece that is actually added into the program. So when they finish our program, not only will they get a haircut certificate, they will also get an entrepreneurship certificate. And that's important because, like you said, going back to now that the shops are, which is exciting to see, that it's no longer just a traditional barbershop. Now you have barbershops, like you said, adding a bar in there and adding more of a kind of a spa setting,
Yeah.
which is exciting for the industry because I would say probably the past 7 to 10 years there's been a shift where for a while a lot of the barbershops was being challenged, I would say, from a lot of the hair cuttery chains
Okay.
that kind of came in. And since the boom of beards now being accepted in the workplace and people going to go back to doing straight razor shave is becoming that kind of nostalgia kind of thing. So barbershops has been this is a really peak time for us because the barbershops has been making a comeback where people are looking, or gentlemen are looking, and ladies are looking for that spa experience, but at a barbershop.
Okay.
And so, so it is definitely.
I'm going to expand a little bit on something that you said I thought was very important, and you partnered with the Small Business Center. And this whole production is a partnership, and I really am glad to see student services working with academic affairs, and that's on the curriculum side. But now you're with workforce and continuing ed, so we have went through 3 different silos, and we are
Yeah.
all working together, and I think it's important
Yes.
if Wake Tech has resources that our students know. And I know some of your students have degrees, so this is not just something that people do.
Right.
Some people I know in your program may have doctors or masters or bachelors. I certainly know some.
Right.
But this is a passion that people have, right?
Yeah. We have, again, going back to not only do we have a very diverse student body or group, but we also have, like you said, different ages. We've ranged from anywhere from 18 to 50, with various backgrounds, various educational backgrounds. So yes, most of the time, people that get involved is usually a passion, usually probably a second career, could be a retirement plan for some folks. And it could be a first-time career for others as well. But yeah, we have a very diverse group, and you had to be passionate. It's an art. So.
Right. And I go to a barbershop downtown, in the old Black Business District on Hargett Street.
Classic.
Yes. But one thing, my barber is a biologist as well. But his father owned the shop, and so this is like his inheritance.
Yeah.
But he's also an artist. So a lot of barbers have a lot of other skills, and all that conversation comes about in the barbershop because of the diversity of the barbers.
Yeah, and that's the experience you bring to the shop, right? So you have like you said, even the barbers themselves has various backgrounds, so they can bring that to their barber experience. I know some barbers that, well, one other thing too and it kind of goes back to why it's important to understand entrepreneurship. One thing that I tell my students and I try to point out to them is that understanding how to run a successful barbershop is just the same fundamental things you would need to be able to start and run any type of business. So, you don't, and you're not stuck to just cutting hair.
Right.
Whatever your other passions you may have or the other skills you may have, you can still use those same fundamental skills that you use to start your business to anything else. So.
Yeah, and I think that the customer service is awesome, and it determines what barbershop you go to based on the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that you're a therapist, but you can provide therapy for some people, right?
Yeah. That's funny because I shared an article with my class, and I found it was actually on psychologytoday.com, and they had an article talking about the hair industry, how that is a cheaper version of getting therapy sessions, because you have this 30 minutes or an hour time, capture time for somebody to be able to get stuff off their chest, and it's naturally that you have confidentiality, you don't share other people's experiences. But I get customers all the time that tell me, I don't know why I get in this chair and I feel like I want to tell all my business, right? But then that's the kind of experience you want them to have.
Exactly.
Is that you want to have that experience that, at least for me, and one thing I try to pass along to my students, is that you want it to be a place just to get away from it all, right? Because it's always been that, as you joke and saying, it's like the men's kind of gentleman club or what have you. So, So it's a question.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Question? Yes.
A video of the shop to show the fellas in there.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, we're going to show the video. Thank you so much, Dr. Roddenberry.
Yes, sir.
We're going
Thank
to
you.
cut and look and go on.
My name is William Graham, and I am a licensed master barber and educator.
My name is Brian Henderson. I'm a barber instructor and also a barber.
A few of the things that I have noticed since being in the profession is, one, the art of cutting hair has gone to the next level. A lot of the barbers now are getting into hair art and hair designing. Because of the growth in area, because of the Raleigh-Durham area, North Carolina becoming one of the #1 places to live, you find more people relocating here. So what has happened, there has been a lot of hair cuttery chains moving to the area as well to hire barbers, looking to hire barbers, and also give opportunities for barbers to start their own businesses as well.
I was in the barbering field. I recently moved back. When I started the program, I recently moved back to Raleigh, and in the barbering field, it takes a while to build up your clientele list. It takes a little while, and I was at a point where I needed income and I needed something stable. And so I came through Wake Tech for the program to help me get my certification. I went through the North Carolina State Board Barber Board examiners and training and structural courses. I went online and I researched the information myself, and I found that Wake Tech offered the program, and I went about signing up for it.
What's detailed into the training is actually you will learn anywhere from not only just cutting hair, but also styling hair, also being familiar with using different chemical texture services as well, and also customer service, and also how to start your own business as well. Because of the quality training that Wake Tech offered their students, whenever I'm looking for a barber, I will definitely contact Wake Tech first, and also when I have any other peers that look for a student, I recommend Wake Tech as well.
No sooner than I finished the program, I had already had individuals that worked for the barber college that I currently work at, and they were just waiting for me to finish my certification from Wake Tech. The training that you get in the classroom is the same training that you're going to use in the workforce.
After being in the industry this long, I've still learned something new, from tools to equipments to products, and different styles and techniques are constantly changing, so you can never stop learning.
Going through Wake Tech, the training procedures that they take you through for an instructor to pass the North Carolina State Board are above and beyond. So if this is something that you're looking to do, the credentials and the certification are out there, but you have to choose the right place to go to. And Wake Tech is that place.
All right. We're back with Graham. So we really are enjoying this, and I love this whole environment. And it's very much like a real barbershop. So
Yes.
tell me, what is it like? Does it simulate? Do people come in here and have all kinds of conversations and recreate those kind of barbershop experiences?
Well, we only can have so much experience.
Yeah.
Things that goes on in the barbershop.
I
We
mean,
still
the
at
good
school,
stuff.
but
Yeah,
I know.
the clean
the
stuff.
clean stuff. There you
Yes.
go. But yes, we do. When they come for the shop, when we start at 11 o'clock, it is I have the students actually give a chance for them the opportunity to practice customer service. So I have them greet the customers and
Okay.
sign them in, and and I tell them to be themselves. And I try not to be the type of instructor to be right on top of them.
Okay.
I try to let them learn how to start knowing how to communicate with their clients. Of course, I'm always watching from afar, so I've learned over years how to use mirrors and all this other stuff, so I can be able to keep an eye on them. So if the haircut gets too far,
Okay.
the students and I have certain little cues or signals when I just take the clipper and fix the work for them. We try to make the client comfortable
Okay.
at all times. But yes, we try to keep it strictly shop. That's why I don't try to stay on top of the clients students and clients while they're working, so they could get a real shop experience. I usually have background music playing, because I tell them I gotta have some kind of background noise, because that's what I'm used to in the shop. So we try to give them that real life barbershop experience while they're here.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that music. And when I was a young person, when I was in middle school, my uncle,
you were young.
I was
You were younger.
much younger.
Yeah, okay.
When my uncle had a barbershop, and so on Friday nights, that was my little hangout. I would
Yeah.
go with him, and a lot of young people. It was a place where all generations were,
Yeah.
from their getting their first haircut all the way up to the high school kids and the college and the workers, and it was a lot of information shared in that space.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. So I had the opportunity to work for the North Carolina Barber Board. I used to be a state inspector, so I used to inspect barbershops.
Okay.
And that was a very humbling experience, because I thought at the time when I was inspecting, I was going on about 20 years of cutting hair and been in the barbershop. When I started meeting, my senior barbers that have been cutting for 30, 40 years, sometimes even more than that, it was just amazing to hear their stories.
Yes.
And the one thing that I found interesting, that I got a chance now to finally, I just recently actually experienced going on to a third generation, meaning that I'm cutting, one of my clients' son.
Okay.
So that's like I'm reaching that third generation, and it's so amazing to hear the other older barbers doing the same thing.
Right, and when people get a barber, they like to keep the same one. People will
Yeah,
wait for an
yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
Deanna Stevens has a question.
I'm sorry.
She wants to know, can we get a free haircut?
Deanna Stevens.
I'm glad you said something. It is free for your very first time.
Wow.
For anybody that comes visit, it's free for their first time, and then it's our hair service is only $5, but we do reduce it for students and staff, so it would be more like give them the senior rate would be like $3. So
Okay.
senior and public safety rate and stuff.
And barbers do women's hair.
We do
Is
women's
it-
hair.
is it
So now,
differently?
yeah, we
Okay.
do mainly when it comes to doing women's hair. We try not, because we already have 3 great cosmetology programs here at Wake Tech. We
Right.
try to be careful on not stepping on anyone's toes.
Right.
But if it's kind of any kind of shortcuts, like some ladies call boy cuts,
Okay.
we do those. When it comes to longer layer cuts or styles, we just mainly do like shampoo and a simple wash and wrap, maybe a blow dry style. But we don't really do a whole lot of styling.
Okay.
Meaning like we don't really do a lot of the chemical services. We don't really do. We learn it, but and we learn it as barbers, but we don't actually offer that service because we don't want to.
Right, compete
Yeah.
within Wake Tech. But I've been to barbershops that they seem to be built within a beauty parlor. They're both together.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes.
Well, going back to our history, I mean, and that's across the board of every shop. And back in the '60s, back when long hair was in, had the afro, you had the Beatles, hair was going long, so a lot of the barbers had to learn how to start doing women hair to be able to survive during that period. So, and then there was, going back to when I was inspecting, I used to run across a lot of older barbers who never came back to cutting men hair because they were making so much money doing
women's hair.
So they just
Right.
never really came back to barbering. So, but they still had their barber license because if you put our curriculum side by side, this is basically what I try to explain to people. We learn barbering and cosmetology. We learn the same exact stuff. It's just that we spend more time on the haircutting piece, while they spend more time on actually hairstyling.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Now, you talked about your prices and the free. Now, do you have a Thanksgiving special or anything, or had you thought about that?
Yeah, we have one. That's a good one. I've been working on one called Thankful Giving.
Okay.
Okay, that's actually been one I think we do. Actually do a monthly special.
Okay.
Of course, we got this new class going to start, so we're going to start ramping that back up. But we do like to send out the campus-wide blast. So always look for those.
Okay.
We'll be doing a blast every month with a different special.
Okay.
But yes, we will be doing now. I'm gonna go ahead and do this Thankful Giving one.
Right. I mean,
And most times, I'll have to cut you off. I'm sorry, but most of them, when we do it, is usually whatever that service we are advertising will be free.
Okay.
For that entire month.
well, I think even as an outreach, that this is a season of giving, and people can bring the canned goods. I mean, you can do a lot of wonderful things at this space.
Yeah, I was speaking with Miss
Melanie?
Melanie.
And I can't remember her new last name. I know who you're talking about.
And we had talked about trying to, or we mentioned about anytime there's any other type of, like you said, any kind of drive or donation, that we have a space here that we can always do any type of canned drives or any kind of book reading drives. We can always do anything.
I need to remember that, because I know that we are getting ready to do some Thanksgiving dinners for some of our students, and probably this is a site that they collect food too, isn't it?
We can be, yeah, they do. I think the
building.
public safety does do.
Okay.
We can do it as for the school as well. 'Cause we did a drive for, actually, my wife's sorority. We did a shoe drive here. We did
Okay.
it last year, and so yeah, it's definitely. Yeah.
Well-
And,
We have a question for you, one last question from Melanie
no.
Green.
okay.
This is a tough question. okay?
Oh,
This
boy.
This is one of those end of semester questions.
Oh boy.
Okay. She's talking about conflict theory. It's a sociological theory that suggests that conflicts help move society forward and grow. Sometimes bad things happen, and they help us. And so I'm sure she's probably talking maybe about civil rights conflicts in that period in American history when it helped us grow. And she wants to know, how do you see barbershops as fitting into that particular period of history and the conflict that was the civil rights era?
Yep.
I don't think it's a hard question.
No, it's not actually.
I mean, they're involved now, and
Yeah.
I can remember even when they were fighting to make Martin Luther King's birthday a holiday, and divestiture in South Africa. Barbershops are always a go-to place
Right.
to discuss, and from a community person's point of view. But as a barber, you might want to answer that differently.
Yeah, we actually kind of touched on that earlier when you
Okay.
mentioned about how we were talking about the place where people will come and politicians will come. But yeah, during that civil rights, that was an area. It was actually during that period, it was almost kind of like, I guess you would consider almost like safe havens or safe
Okay.
spots for them to come meet and to be able to organize, to rally. Barbershops was used for that as well. Before the actual civil rights movement, and back around, like I said, around that post-Civil War time, one book I was reading, one research gentleman that did a research said that, and his theory was that that they believed that the barbershop, because during that post-Civil War era, the black barbers was the only one cutting hair because it was considered any kind of service
Right.
industry was mainly for any type of like slaves or people. And so they believe that the black barbers, because of their professionalism, had some kind of influence on a lot of the politicians to be able to feel comfortable with freeing the slaves.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
And that even goes back to that Duke,
Yeah.
NC Central
And-
thing,
exactly.
because it's the
Exactly.
service.
Yeah.
I think that our time is winding down, and it was great, and I'm planning on coming back. This is going to be my home base.
Yeah,
we're going to
that's
bring
right.
some people up in here. I love this
Yes.
space.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I think we need to promote this a lot more in the community. And if any of you are listening, please get in touch with Graham and try to have him come out, and it'll showcase what you do, but it also will give you a really good added to your event.
That's right. That's right. If the haircuts don't come to us, we'll go to the haircuts. So,
Exactly.
thank you.
Thank you for hosting this today.
Thank you.
It's great.
All right.